Hello and welcome back to this episode of Alaskwatch. Back a little sooner than usual. I've got, I guess, a little bit of breaking news, a little bit of an update to this case that's been going around. I'm sure most of you have heard by now that are active on social media and pay attention to stuff like that. That two Portland men were found deceased on Christmas Day after they were reported missing after they'd gone to look for Sasquatch. That's what the news is reporting. I have this article. This is from KIRO, Channel 7. I'm going to read this article. This is by Sean Garrett from KIRO News. This was published December 28th. Two Portland men die while searching for Sasquatch in Skamania County. Two Portland men lost their lives while searching for Sasquatch in eastern Skamania County, the Skamania County Sheriff's Office said Saturday. The men, ages 59 and 37, were found dead in a heavily wooded area off of the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest after a 3-day search. The pair had been reported missing on December 25th after failing to return home as planned on December 24th. A family member alerted authorities to prompting the search. Utilizing footage from a flock safety camera, search teams located the vehicle belonging to the men off Oklahoma Road near Willard, Washington. More than 60 volunteer search and rescue personnel, along with canine teams, drones, and ground crews, assisted in the operation. The United States Coast Guard provided air support using FLIR technology to scan the area despite challenging weather conditions, including freezing temperatures, heavy rain, and snow. The men were ultimately found dead, with initial reports indicating exposure to the elements as the likely cause of death. Officials noted the difficult terrain and weather conditions combined with the men being ill-prepared as contributing factors. Skamania County Sheriff's Office expressed gratitude to the search and rescue teams, which included personnel from Skamania County, Klickitat County, Hood River County, Wasco County, and other regional organizations. They also extended their condolences to the families of the victims. This tragedy highlights the exceptional efforts of volunteers who sacrifice time during the holidays and work tirelessly in harsh conditions to bring closure to the grieving families, the Sheriff's Office said in a statement. So that just came out here in the last couple of days and started making the rounds. It was the other day when I was at dinner with Chuck and Rob Roy and Daniel. It came across my news feed, and I shared it with the table, and it kind of took off from there. And the whole time since the stories broke, there's kind of been a prevailing question among the Bigfoot community is who were these guys? Obviously, it's a pretty small community, and if you don't know everybody, but everybody, somebody that knows somebody, everybody knows somebody that knows somebody. So in a way, we all do know each other. If you've been to a conference, if you've spent any time, out in the field looking with, friends and other like-minded people, or been a part of a Bigfoot group, or even been on a Bigfoot social media group or something like that. We've all interacted with each other. I have a Bigfoot podcast and social media pages. So is it possible that these gentlemen, one or both of them, followed me or had interacted with me? So, it's a question on everybody's mind. And nobody seems to know who they are, or at least nobody's saying anything. I think, excuse me, I think if it was, excuse me. I was like, should I bring something to drink down? No, I'll be okay. This is just going to be a quick one. Now I'm going to die on mic. So everybody's been asking the question, who were these guys? I have no clue. I'll tell you what I did, though. I was trying to figure out some more information about it. And I just thought, well, I'll just message the sheriff's department. I'll message the Skamania Sheriff's Department and see if they will divulge any more information. Because I wanted to sit down and do a video about this. But at the same time, I was kind of waiting for some more information. I'm like, well, maybe they'll release the names and we'll get some more clarification, like maybe some autopsy results, the names of the deceased, stuff like that. So I thought, well, before I sit down and do an episode, let me just send a message to the sheriff's department and see what their plans are for this. If they plan to release any more information, because this is not a criminal matter. This isn't really what law enforcement does. A lot of times they'll coordinate with a search and rescue, but law enforcement's main mission is to enforce the law. So they'll release very limited statements on matters like this. There's privacy matters. The missing people weren't charged with a crime, so there's no court paperwork to file. So a lot of times, their names aren't going to be out in public. A lot of people don't know this. You can go down your local courthouse and usually ask or pay a little fee or something, and they'll give you like the names or the charging documents, even like the affidavit and criminal complaint for a lot of for criminal cases filed in the court. Some places you can go online and do it. Alaska has a thing called Court View. But anyway, here I'll read you what I wrote to the sheriff's department and their response back to me. Greetings. I'm working on a story about the recently deceased gentleman located in Skamania County that we're looking for Sasquatch. My questions are, does the sheriff's department plan to release the names, or is there going to be more updates on the case, like autopsy results? Thank you for your time, and know that I'm saddened to hear the unfortunate fate of these two men, and prayers for their families. So that's what I sent to the sheriff's department. Pretty quickly, I actually received a reply, which was surprising. I figured it would probably be a business day or so. And this is from what I assume is either one of their admin clerks or dispatchers. The reply says, "We do not. Information can be requested through public records request. However, not all information is subject to release. Thank you for your inquiry." So right there, they are not going to release any more information on this. They're not going to release the names. They're not going to release the autopsy results. Nothing like that. She did hint that I could fill out a records request and possibly get that information, but she also left in the caveat that not all information will be released. So I plan to do that. I was talking to my wife about it yesterday. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna send in a record request and just get what I can get. Like if they don't send me the names, maybe I'll get some more information, more detailed area or something, like where they were found, just some more information. And then as I was kind of looking more into it and researching, I was looking at the news stories on social media, and I was reading some of the comments, because really what I was looking for a link to somebody that knew these people. Like I was looking for somebody to say, oh my God, this was my uncle and his son, or this was my cousin, or this was something like that. And I was going to see if I couldn't find out the name organically like that. And so I was looking through some of the comments and I saw some of the most disgusting vitriol I've ever seen. Like it's funny because I'm like, I expect nothing from humanity, but I'm still disappointed. Because the article said these people were out looking for Sasquatch. The people were just being so cruel and mean in the comments. Just saying, oh, they got what they deserved. Maybe Bigfoot, killed them, this, that, you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And I'm just thinking well, what if they were just out hiking or fishing or skiing, or, what if they were out just doing some other outdoor activity? Like, what's the difference between looking for Bigfoot and going hiking? There's literally no difference. You're out in the woods enjoying nature. Maybe you're hoping to see an animal. Maybe it's a Bigfoot. Maybe it's a deer. Who knows? But you're just out enjoying nature. So I saw a lot of people basically being really negative, really mean. And I kind of had a little moment of self-reflection there. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to file that records request. I don't want to be the person that brings these people's family out into the public, out into the limelight. Like, it's not, somebody's probably going to do it. Not going to be me, because I don't want to expose those people to that kind of BS, and it's not just online. Like, I'm sure they can see this stuff online, and they have seen the stuff online, but people are crazy, man. Like, once their names are out there, people start sending them messages, calling their house, or putting messages in their mailbox. They need to leave Bigfoot alone. They got what they deserve, or something like that. I mean, stuff like that happens. And, I've seen stuff like that. So, yeah, I decided I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not filing the records request, but I wanted to update you guys and let you know that there's not going to be any more information forthcoming from the sheriff's department. And, I feel bad. These guys, I looked it up on Google Earth because I wasn't sure. It looks like they were about an hour and a half away from where they lived, give or take. I don't know where exactly they lived in Portland, but from Portland to Willard, Washington, it said the car was found near Willard, Washington, and I'm sure it was found way up on the forest trail or forest service roads or something. It is about an hour and a half, which is about it's about how far I go when I go to my area that I like to recreate in up the road. And, I feel like the main comment here from the law enforcement officer about how, being unprepared was a factor. It just, you know, we're Chuk and a bunch of other guys, like, we're always hammering in, be prepared, be prepared. Sometimes you just can't be prepared. Sometimes something happens, you have no idea. Uh, and look at the weather forecast before you leave for somewhere. And sometimes that's not even good enough. I live 800 feet up, and I'll check the weather. I have my default weather set to the town I live in. And when I look at my phone or my weather app or the weather on the computer, sometimes it'll say like, oh, it's partly sunny and, 35 degrees. And, I live 800 feet up. Technically, I'm in the same city, but I've got different weather up here. Um, a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation, I think, with Will Ulmer over text, and we were talking about the difference between weather and elevation. And I told him I think it's supposed to be like 37 or 35 or whatever it was down in town, and it's like 18 degrees up here. And when they're getting rain, we'll get snow, or if they're getting rain, we'll get like freezing rain. So it's not, sometimes even though you check the weather, sometimes that's not good enough. If you're going to be in a different elevation, just far enough away that maybe you're on the periphery of the weather service jurisdiction or whatever, you might not be able to get accurate weather forecast. So you kind of have to be prepared for a little bit of everything. You have to be looking at, like, what am I going into? What's the usual weather for this time of year? What are some possible weather events I could encounter? The article mentioned freezing rain, and freezing rain, in my opinion, is the worst. It's the worst weather, other than maybe like extreme heat. Freezing rain is the worst that you can be in, because at least with snow, it makes traversing the terrain difficult, but at least with snow, it's solid. You can build a shelter out of it if you have to. It can insulate if it needs to, if you know what you're doing. But with freezing rain, it's just really cold, hard water. And it's tough. It's easier to stay drier usually in snow than it is with rain. But yeah, give me snow any day over freezing rain. I feel like, we don't know. I'm speculating. I feel like these gentlemen were lost. I feel like if they knew where they were, they could have got back to the car. We don't know that. Again, I swear by a Garmin InReach. I take it with me every time I go out. It has texting capability. It has SOS capability. And even still, like with the SOS capability, like I know when I hit that button, like, it doesn't mean help's coming event like soon. It means help's coming when they get to it, like eventually. So I think that's the problem with a lot of people that have emergency personal locator beacons, is they wait too long to activate them. It's like, I'm in a bit of a spot here, but I think I'm okay, and I don't want to cause a scene. So I'm just going to keep going and just hope for the best. And then by the time you're like, okay, I'm really in trouble here, and you and you hit it, like, it's, they should have been getting to you now, not an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long it's going to take them. I've heard the troopers on the radio. I've heard people call in like, "Oh, hey, we're stuck here, we're stuck there, or we're here and this person's hurt, and we're here, that person's hurt," and the troopers just be like, "Well, tell them to hunker down, and we'll get to them. We'll start out to them in the morning. Like they're not gonna come rescue you at night. they're gonna they're gonna wait till it's daylight and they get enough people together, and then they're gonna come look for you. Hopefully, if the weather's good enough." So yeah, I mean, you got to be prepared. You got to be ready for the weather, any other just adversity you might run into. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's sad. I kind of I feel like these guys. I know the prevailing like theory is they're probably father and son, given the age difference. I feel like one, they were lost. I feel like two, I kind of feel like two, they were maybe um, they weren't seasoned sex squatchers. This might have been a spur of the moment thing or something like that. I'd be curious to know if one of them had a sighting and they were going maybe in that area to go look for evidence or something like that. I don't know. It probably never will unless the family comes forward and talks about it, which honestly is unlikely given given the response that I've seen online. If I was related to one of these people and I saw the just the mean comments and vitriol that was coming online, I wouldn't want my name out there. I wouldn't want it to known that my husband or brother or dad or whatever was the person that went looking for Bigfoot and didn't come back. So that's another thing, guys, that I suggest that you do. Talk to your loved ones or whoever is your emergency contact. Like whenever you go out and when you tell them, like, okay, if I'm not back by this time, call for help or come looking for me or whatever. Uh, just ask them that they tell the authorities that you're hiking or camping or fishing or hunting or whatever. Don't mention Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I wouldn't mention it. Not because I think there's some grand conspiracy or anything like that. Just because one, it will cut down on the BS that you see online, like what you do with these guys, and two, I think they'll take it a little bit more seriously if they think they're out there looking for a hunter or a hiker rather than a crazy Sasquatch person. And I think they'll probably take it a little bit more seriously. If you hear, you'll hear people like, "Oh, he was out looking for Bigfoot. Oh, well, maybe the Bigfoot got him or the UFO got him or something like that." So, I've instructed my spouse to do the same thing. Like if I'm ever out and I'm not back when I'm supposed to be, or I call for help, like whatever you do, do not mention Bigfoot to the authorities. You tell them I'm hiking, camping, fishing, whatever, and tell them to please come look for me. And that's another thing I'm hearing is the conspiracies. Something happened to him, something nefarious happened to him. Bigfoot got him. Bigfoot got him. I don't think so. I don't believe that at all. And the cover up. Oh, this is a cover up. They're covering something up. They're covering something up. You know what? That's disrespectful to the search and rescue workers that went out and found these guys, and to the authorities that investigated it. Uh, if they were covering something up, why did they find the bodies? Like, why would they even find them? Why would they just be like, not? Oh, well, they're missing. Let's just add them to the missing list. They're missing. We don't know what happened to them. Why would you even bother to have a cover up? It doesn't make any sense when you can just say, "Yep, they're gone. We can't find them." Illogical, and just people wanting drama. Uh, anyway, I feel like there was something else I was going to mention about it. I don't know. I wonder if their names are ever going to become public, but I'm not gonna do that. And I would ask anybody that sees this that has their own platform or podcast or whatever, think twice before you release somebody's name like that. I mean, if it's out there, it's out there. But because I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll be able to get these guys' names. It'll be like an exclusive, and I'll put it out there. And then reading the comments and just seeing the BS and the vitriol, I was like, no, it can be somebody else. It's not going to be me. But yeah, be careful when you're out there, guys. Plan. Apparently, these guys, somebody called when they didn't show up on time. Always make sure you give somebody a hard time too. Don't say like, "I'm going to be back around dinner time on Thursday." I mean, it's okay to say that, but if you're like, okay, if I'm not back by 7:30, 8:30, call somebody, give them a hard time, and don't give them the option. Because if you give somebody the option, they're like, well, I don't know. He said it would be about 8, and it's only 10, so he's just running a little behind. You give them a hard time. You say, okay, I'm going to be back hopefully around noon. If I'm not back by 2, call for help, please. So, but apparently somebody did, and I'm curious what these flock cameras are. I'm assuming there's some kind of camera used to monitor birds or bird movements. Flock safety camera. They used it to find their car. That's interesting. I wonder what other kind of things those pick up. I know what I was going to mention here. So, I'm not thinking like a journalist. I'm just consuming things. I was on TikTok the other day, and I saw a video about this, like one video where a dude was talking about it, much like I am now. He was kind of implying the conspiracy side of things. And I was reading through the comments, and I saw somebody say something. It was the only comment that was like this, and it said, I don't know why they're saying, I don't know where the Sasquatch thing come from. They were not out looking for Sasquatch. I don't know why they said the family said that. And I didn't favorite or like the video. I just kind of kept scrolling. And then afterwards I was like, man, I want to find that again. And I couldn't find it. I don't know if it got taken down or if it just got lost in the algorithm. Cause I wanted to look at that comment and see if they expanded on it and added any more. I mean, it could just be somebody it's on TikTok. They're probably just talking out of their butt. They probably don't know. But I found it was interesting. And it is kind of interesting how Sasquatch is such a, it's not just like 2 men found, dead in the wilderness, or 2 men found after outdoor outing or something. All the news stories have mentioned Sasquatch or Bigfoot, and I find that kind of interesting. I don't think anything nefarious happened to them as far as Bigfoot or cryptids being involved. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that push that. There's going to be a lot of people pushing that angle. But in my opinion, at any time, I'll take freezing rain over Bigfoot anytime. As far as like if somebody dies in the woods, like what do you fit? What's your odds? Who's going to get them first, the freezing rain or Bigfoot? Freezing rain every time. So sounds like they ill prepared. They probably didn't have anything to keep warm. Maybe nothing to start a fire. Who knows? And we don't know their level of competency either. This could have been one of the first time, even though they lived in the Pacific Northwest, this could have been one of the first times they'd ever spent any extended time out in the woods. Maybe one of them got hurt, and the other one refused to leave them, and they succumbed to the elements. I mean, who knows? There's any number of scenarios that could happen. My money's on they got lost though, and because if they could get back to the car, then they could get warm. So I think that there's probably so they got lost. They probably didn't have the tools to find a compass or map or inReach or anything like that to find their way back, and just probably expired, and probably didn't have the tools to make any kind of shelter, or probably didn't have the know-how to make any kind of shelter. And just worst case scenario. I don't think it had anything to do with Bigfoot, other than the fact that maybe that's why they were out there. And according to that one comment on TikTok, they weren't. So who knows? And there may have been other things, maybe they weren't looking for Sasquatch. Maybe they were going up there for some other nefarious reason. Maybe, they have some kind of illicit operation operating up there, and the family just, hey, they're not back. They're supposed to be back. Well, what were they doing? Looking for Sasquatch, just who knows? We may never know, but regardless, you need to be sure, be prepared, check the weather, be prepared for the weather, be prepared for the weather that is common but not coming, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, there's a good chance there might be snow or rain, so be ready for both. Uh, carry those satellite devices, satellite phone in reach, a spot, something. Just be ready, because when it comes down, there's a saying that you hear a lot, when seconds matter, the police are only minutes away. I mean, that applies to search and rescue too. When the weather's bad and hypothermia kills like quickly, and sometimes you only have minutes to get your body temperature stabilized before irreversible damage strikes, or you basically get to the point where you can't help yourself. Space blankets, I'm a big fan of those. I carry one all the time, and never used one, although I believe Stephen Major credits a space blanket for probably keeping him from going hypothermic in Port Chatham. He swears by those things now. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get off here. Short episode. I just wanted to give you guys that update and that exclusive information. It looks like they're not going to be releasing any more information on this case. And just I feel like maybe for the family's sake, maybe we should just leave it alone. I don't think there's anything nefarious or evil going on. I think it was just an unfortunate accident that probably could have been prevented with the proper amount of preparedness. And I just urge you all to please be careful going forward and moving forward in the future. Going out to Squatch, just be careful, be prepared, tell somebody where you're going, have a plan, have a hard return time, and just remember that nothing worth doing is easy. Nothing great. Nobody that ever accomplished anything great had 100% backing. Remember, there was everybody that accomplished something amazing. There were a lot of people standing around and behind them that were making fun of them and calling them stupid and everything else. So just remember that there's no great reward without some amount of risk, and be safe out there.